One of my favorite Mark Cuban quotes goes, "Follow your passion. I hear it as advice to students and others. What a bunch of bullshit. Everyone is passionate about something. Think of all the failed things people were passionate about. Don't follow your passions, follow your effort." I love that Mark Cuban quote. Do you know that like 20% of high school students don't graduate on time? And studies show that we forget 70% of the information within 24 hours if it isn't like immediately reinforced. ADHD rates are rising from 6% in 2007 to, or I'm sorry, in 1997 to closer to 12% today. And college rates are dropping too, down from 66% in 2019 to 61% today. And I don't really want to get into the reasons because there are very many and equally many reasons for how many individuals there are, but whether it's like monetary constraints, convenience of available goods, lack of interest, or like lack of hope even, it seems like ignorance is growing. At minimum, reliance on the educational system. And in order to be the standard for future generations, we have to learn the skills that we've forgotten as a society. And part of the reason we forgot is because we've become so specialized. I can't tell you how often, though, on the farm we'll be trying to do something and consult YouTube University. So there's so many free resources out there. This is one of them. There's no excuse to be ignorant other than like your own initiative, your awareness, and asking the right questions. But a lot of people don't have the skill set of like knowing how to learn things. So I want to break that down in the rest of the video, at least how we teach things at our survival school and permaculture design, and like teaching how to for teaching people how to live sustainably closer to nature. And if you've taken a class with us, you might notice that Mark Cuban quote from like the start of our plant manual. And I think it serves this discussion really well. How to learn anything, follow your effort, and find your inroads to mastery. If you're interested in plants, like for me, I really like woodworking. If you've seen our shop up here, where people get their hands on the tools and can like make whatever you want essentially. Like woodworking might be an inroad to learning plants, particularly like tree species, right? If you've had a sick family member, that might have like clued you into herbalism, and natural healing methods. If you're a chef, maybe like you really like herbs and really like vegetables and cooking with them. The quickest way to learn anything is to chunk off what you found interesting and follow your efforts. And so this is how we get kids involved in the outdoors, right? So how do we teach people that like have no otherwise interest, like they don't know what they don't know, right? And for me, the biggest part is like building the village and building the school and building the community that allows people to learn by just living in that immersive experience. So we build the village, and then when we create challenges, we give easy wins at first, and that is essentially like the immediate function to perfection of the art timeline. Brent Pierce, our self-defense guru, he talks so much about this, like particularly with like knife fighting, is day one, he wants to teach you like the footwork and the knife handling skills so that if you're in a fight, you can implore a technique almost immediately. And then as we grow and develop, we have that like perfection of the art. And that's when we get into like blocking and countering and doing like multiple things at first. But in the beginning, all we're doing is like cutting the hand. So, like, say somebody's stabbing you, most people want to stab to the body. But the Filipino martial arts teach us that if we defang the snake and now they can't hold the knife, they're a lot less dangerous to us. So, most people be trying to stab the body while we're trying to slash the hand. It gives more distance, but that's immediately uh, able for you to comprehend and then use and employ if you were ever in a fight. Now we're not talking about fighting, we're talking about other things. But I think martial arts and farming and just living with the land all came from the same. So I wanted to start there with that example. So be thinking about the immediate functionality and then following that timeline, and ultimately we'll reach like a level of mastery or at least competence that we can go out and do things. But sure, we shoot for the mastery level, but that immediate functionality you can't beat. In our survival classes and everything we teach, we really focus on the crawl, walk, run approach. So we're not going to start off like sprinting. We're going to start off like baby steps. I've got two nephews, and like watching them learn to walk here recently has been very fun. And they started off by like just kind of rolling around, and then eventually they like prop themselves up, and now they're crawling, and then they're walking shortly thereafter as they build strength, and then now they're running in the house around the house being fusty boots, and like that progression is what we want to mimic in all of our teaching. So if we're building a fire and we have that village built and people are gathered together to learn these skills, the younger generations and the people that don't know stuff, they're going to watch somebody skilled build the fire. And there might be no instruction there. But you'll see like the TP. So we do a lot of friction fire because we think that's the pinnacle of like fire making. But you'll watch somebody build the TP structure, and then do a bow drill, and that like everybody shuts up if they haven't seen a bow drill before, and they start watching the technique, start watching how it comes together, and then when you breathe life into that fireball, that tinder bundle, it's just like everyone is interested. So that's very cool, right? But how do we teach that after they've seen it a few times? We start talking about like the TP fire structure. We might show how to build that to increase success. Well, we definitely show how to do it. We show how to make tinder bundles, but instead of going out and scraping up cedar bark or like robbing all the birds' nests from the forest or squirrels' nests or whatever, we'll start people with jute cordage, and that's like a very cheap dried plant, commercially available material that allows people to get the reps in, so that we're moving from that like crawling phase into something more. So the walk phase might be, here, try my bow drill kit. And then as that moves into like running, now they're making their own kits from material they found on the landscape, and they're really going for it. And even inside like the friction fire paradigm, well, oftentimes we'll give them a lighter, and then we'll move to like ferro rods, and then we'll move to like bow drill kits. And then even within like the friction fire spectrum, there's bow drill with natural with paracord being the easiest. Then we graduate to bow drill with natural cordage. Then we bow drill or graduate to the strap drill, like a hand drill, but you have a rope around the top to give you added pressure. Then we graduate to floating the hand drill. Then we graduate to I'm missing something, I feel like. Then we'll graduate to the hand drill where we're coming down, and then graduate to the floating of the hand drill, where you can go for longer periods of time. And so like even there's a spectrum inside the bow drill, the friction fire. So if you focus on chunking things up, like we said before, how do you eat an elephant? Like one bite at a time. It's the same thing here. With shooting, I carry a gun. I mentioned this, I feel like the past 3 or 4 at like talking long form videos of talking about shooting, and I'll go back to it again. But like if someone's never shot before, you might load one round in the gun so they can present the gun at a static range, like if you've gone to like an indoor range, and they might shoot one round just so they feel how the gun feels, and there's no added risk really. Then you load up a full magazine, and you might let them shoot like 5, 10, 20, whatever it is, slowly increasing that walk, crawl, or crawl, walk, run progression. Then we're moving to like a 5 count draw. So count 1, clear the shirt. grab the pistol. Count 2, pull the pistol up to your chest. Count 3, pistol finds your hand, and you start driving out. Count 4, you're picking up your sights, and count 5, you're pulling the trigger. So we have a 5 count draw. As they gain proficiency in that, and we're calling the shots and being safe in the learning, now we're into a 3 count draw where they grab the gun and like bring it up to clear the shirt, grab the gun, pull it up to their chest, and present it all in like 1 or 2 counts, and then fire the shot, break the shot at 3, and then by the end we're just going to the timer. So we've gone from a static range to drawing and shooting, and that happens really really quickly with the people that I've taught. Moving on to the next step, now we're like drawing and shooting on the move, and that even graduates to like clearing rooms and like being in a gunfight, right? And now the root of gunfight isn't gun, it's fight. So you have to have some like jujitsu in there too, some Filipino martial arts, all these other things. But it shows the progression of crawling, walking, and then running, and that immediate functionality, perfection of the art as we find in inroads of mastery of things that like interest us, you know. So for preppers and survivalists, we harp all the time on like the prepping to production pipeline, and that might start by just like buying extra food at the store and keeping it in your basement for a rainy day, and maybe putting some water up, or just having some water bottles, you know, and then that might graduate to canning your own food, and rotating like food that you've bought either at like the local farmers market, or even the next step, maybe you've got some window boxes, or you're building some raised beds, and then that goes into like now you've built a whole like victory garden or a market garden. These are all skills that we teach. Come see our market garden example. And now we're moving into like food forest development, where we have fruit trees inside the garden, with plants all around that we don't have to like plow every year, and it kind of like fertilizes itself. We're implementing chickens and goats and cows into that system, and like now you're a producer, right? So you started out like being a consumer, and now you're like adding to the benefit of society, and leaving areas better than you found it. Ultimately, the takeaway is like mastery is reps. We talk about this all the time. Reps, like reps in the gym, reps in the bojo, reps in whatever you want to do. Experience comes from failing. I know you know that quote, right? The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. That's a Stephen McCraney quote, originally, says the internet. But I've heard it like applied over and over to so many things, and it definitely applies to how do you learn anything. Is there's no such thing as failure. There's only opportunities to learn, and that plays into like the mindset that we want to cultivate. In the weight room downstairs, you'll see it written on the wall: failure is part of the process, quitting is not. We can fail all the time. As long as we learn from that, we reevaluate and we go again. We're not dead yet. This is all positive mental attitude, PMA, and like the survival rule of 3, knowing that we're here for a reason. And if things in the world got you fearful, it means that you're meant to bring your family back to the natural world. And you've known something is wrong for your entire life, with the way society is organized. But that's just like a call to you to, or it should be. It was a call to me, and I think it's a call to you, to lay the groundwork and create a safe place for you, your family, and your community to thrive. We're here to help you do that. Reach out, please. Um, Either, just reach out. There are skilled mentors and teachers, whether or not you choose us to be your guide. There's so many people out there that are doing great things in this. And I know if you've been to my class, the number one skill in any survival, in learning anything, is reading. We have like not all, but we have a lot of human history recorded in text, and we can either learn from our own mistakes, which is very costly, or learn from the mistakes of others. I feel like a broken record saying this quote again, but the lessons we learn are written on the tombstones of others. It's much easier to learn from experience than to be the pain of like dying yourself, right? So take from the people that are dead, and that way you can live a healthy and successful life and bring others back to that health and success and wellness and productivity that is our birthright in the world. Thanks for watching this video. You've made it to the end, so I know you have a passion for life and are serious about surviving whatever the universe has to throw at you. Drop us a like and make sure that you subscribe so you never miss a video. SustainableHomestead.com is the best place to look through and get all of our information. We have a resource library there. You can join our weekly homestead mastermind meeting with a group of like-minded homesteaders, preppers, and everybody, and everybody on the spectrum is represented, from beginners to like full-fledged farmers, experienced bushcrafters. It's a great resource and probably the cheapest way in to getting a lot of really good information, other than the free stuff that we put out all the time. Or you can join us in person and get the full immersion into living with the land. And I guarantee it'll shave decades off the time it would take you to do this on your own, or to learn it on your own. So maybe the best way to learn anything is find an experienced mentor that's going to guide you correctly and allow you to fail and learn on your own a little bit along the way too. As always, preparation today means peace of mind tomorrow. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the future.